Hi group, this is the 5.3 practice on page 12 of your Unit 5 packet. I know that you just heard me do the 5.3 notes, but we're going to do the 5.3 practice here together. These are very similar to what we just talked about. So we're trying to pick out the transformations that occurred here. And so it says, which of the following transformations would map to a figure, would map figure MDNP onto its new image? So the first thing here is we want to check and see which one is the new image, because this is kind of a weird one to look at. Let me move my paper here. So if you look at this outside L, that's going to be the bigger figure. So the Y, the A, and the X. So that's our bigger figure. Okay, our smaller figure is the original. Okay, so the original is the smaller figure. So keep that in mind. Okay. So the only way to make things bigger and smaller is by dilating them. Okay, so here this was definitely a dilation. It didn't shift left to right, up and down. It didn't rotate anywhere. And we didn't reflect it over any line. We just made it bigger or smaller. So in this case, it became bigger. So if we look at our original points, let's look at, we'll just do point Y. Why not? So original Y is at -1, -1. Okay, and the new Y is at, oh boy, it looks like -1.5, -1.5. Okay, so you want to think about how do we get from -1 to -1.5? Okay, so let's just do some calculations and see. So if I do -1 times -1, it's itself. If I do -1 times -1.5, right, it gets me 1.5. So that means that I stretched it by 1.5, or I dilated it by 1.5. So for a rule, we would do 1.5 times x, 1.5 times y, and that's how we'd write it. You could write it like this and do a fraction. 3/2 is the same thing as 1.5. So you could do 3/2 x times 3/2 y. Okay, let's take a look at number 2. Okay. It says use the transformations to the right to determine what happened. It looks like here there was also a dilation, right? We have a smaller and a larger figure. Okay, it looks like the larger figure is the original A. And our new figure is B. So this actually got smaller. This is going to be a dilation again, because we made it smaller. We didn't reflect, rotate, or translate. So let's take one of our points. So we'll take the original point here. That's at -4, +4. Okay, and the new point is at -2, +2. So to get from -4 to -2, I would divide by 2. That same rule works for my y value. So if I do 4 divided by 2, I get 2. So here, that tells us that we're multiplying by 1/2, that we dilated by 1/2. So we do xy maps to 1/2 x, 1/2 y. You could also do 0.5 there if you wanted to.